So eSIM is basically transforming the model that was offered by the traditional plastic SIMs, was a single activation model. It will transition that in a cloud-based activation model which enables multiple activation and remote subscription management. eSIM not only benefits the existing cellular ecosystem, but it offers many growth opportunities by leveraging the cloud-based systems. This makes eSIM a perfect partner for 5G, where the cellular industry seeks to grow into new market and business opportunities. Now, at its core, the transition to eSIM focuses on the consumer. It focuses on providing better services, more choices, easier to use, and lower costs. The eSIM will help to boost incremental subscription growth. And how it does it is by easing the activation and the subscription management. Qualcomm will focus the rollout of the new technology on incremental markets such as the always-on, always-connected PC and industrial IoT. We believe that a simplified activation process will in turn drive an increase in cellular activation rate. Now, for the ecosystem to strive, there's a couple of structural problems that we need to address. First, in the current SIM activation model, the operator pays for the SIM. Now, when you go to eSIM, the cost burden moves from the operator to the OEM. Now, OEMs will only agree to an increase in the EBOM if, in turn, there's an increase in ASPs or increase in units. Now, at the onset of the eSIM transition, I think it will be very difficult to prove either one of those, to say, hey, there's more revenue, there's more volume that come in. So I think that has a risk, in turn, if you're not addressing it, to prolong the time or the transition time from the SIM model to the eSIM. The second problem is the operators. Now, the operators will have to upgrade their billing backbone. That's obviously a substantial cost burden for them, and that comes at a time when they have to migrate as well to 5G. So to compensate for that cost, what they would have to do, they would be looking for incremental activations, and those activations to be at a lower cost. This will be a key metric for us to measure, and this will be a key metric that modulates the transition speed from SIM to eSIM. Now, Qualcomm envisions an eSIM ecosystem with industry partners that actually ensure a smooth transition from the SIM world into the eSIM. I would like to introduce our partners today. Guest speakers, I would like to ask on stage Jean-François from Gemalto and Jacques Bonifay from Transatel. Please welcome those two challengers. All right, let's start with Gemalto's role into that. We are going to basically put Gemalto UICC that is provisioned with the dynamic bootstrap solution from Gemalto with our Windows and Snapdragon chipset. That will do two things. We'll address both of the structural issues I was talking before. For one, we're taking the burden away from the OEM, so there's no more cost burden with the OEM. For the other, the Gemalto dynamic bootstrap solution allows the downloading of the operator profile over the activating operator's network. This will eliminate costs that would be associated, for example, with roaming charges that would be due if you download the profile over another network. Please, Jean-François, can you talk to us about your contribution to the ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
everybody. So first, let me explain just in a few words with Gemalto, in case you don't know who we are. Actually, we are kind of present in this ecosystem. So just a few figures in what we are doing in the connectivity ecosystem. So each year, we issue more than 1.7 billion SIMs. Okay, I'm taking billions and not millions. Okay, we deliver that to we have more than 400 mobile operators worldwide in every continent. Basically, we deliver as well to OEMs. Some of them about eSIM, but some of them as well we provide other connectivity solutions. And regarding eSIM, actually we'll be issuing a press release today announcing that we reached the threshold of 100 eSIM management server. Okay? So you will see a press release today on our website. So this is big ecosystem. Again, on the eSIM, I put on the right our different partners. Again, obviously, we have more than 100 partners, technology provider, mobile operators, OEMs, with whom we are building this eSIM ecosystem and making this transition from the existing SIM to the left to this wonderful new world about eSIM. So, just to explain what is our view basically about connectivity. Well, in Gemalto, we believe that actually there is a need for a circle of trust, that connectivity comes together with trust and with security. So we provide first on the left the connectivity with within the device, okay, and of course this comes by technical elements, eSIM, modules as well that we produce, and as well solution to enable out-of-the-box connectivity. These things should be easy, whether we are speaking about the consumer world or the industrial IoT. Technical solutions need to be put in place, and the subscription must be as well managed. Okay, so it can be as simply as pre-provisioning the SIM, but there are as well much more adapted solution depending on the different verticals. This is typically for IoT. As you know, in IoT, each verticals have their own constraints. And at the same time, we need to ensure the security and the reliability of the device. Okay? It needs to be solid. Second point is about the data and the security of the data, because devices here are a way actually to transmit data up to the network and sometimes to cloud services. So security needs to be all along the chain. The device itself, of course, but as well, so the data when it is in the device must be protected. Data must be protected when it is transported over the cellular network, and data must be protected when it has arrived actually in the cloud. Okay? This is very important as well for IoT service provider. And lifecycle management must be ensured, because especially when you put devices, well, this is much more a constraint actually for industrial IoT. But of course, when you deploy a solution that must stay in the field for the next 10 years, I can tell you, oh boys, that in 10 years, there will be hackers making a lot of efforts to try to crack the solution. And there are many occasions when you cannot just replace the whole system. In order to have a good return on investment, must stay and be operated during the 10 years. So that's why we need to provide what we call security lifecycle management, which is basically firmware upgrade management and the way to protect against new attacks that will be developed. Lastly, we have to think as well about how we are going to make money out of it. I'm not talking just about Gemalto, but I'm talking about the service providers. Okay? Today, especially in IoT, again, everybody is very constrained by very low margins, and as well putting a lot of pressure to have a lower bill of material. Okay, but there is a hardware cost. So here we are thinking about having much more an approach called device as a service. Whereas, well, you have the right function and you pay for the right function when you use it, okay, within a given device. That's why we are developing as well solution about entitlement software, application upgrade, to enable actually these new business models, much more linked actually to the service itself, rather than focusing only on the bill of material. Okay, so this is our vision on basically how we want to address this ecosystem about IoT, consumer and industrial. So let me switch now to ACPC in particular and what we are working on. So first, obviously, it's a complex ecosystem because there are plenty of different OEMs. Some of them might not be familiar, by the way, with wireless, especially PC makers. Sorry about that. There are plenty of mobile operators, more than 450 operators worldwide, and there are plenty of service providers. Don't forget that an ACPC is there to provide as well a service, which might be consumer service, such as using Netflix, could be professional service, using Azure or other kind of cloud service. Okay, so it is actually a complex ecosystem with plenty of people, okay, and plenty of entities. So eSIM is just one smaller aspect of it. Still, the eSIM itself is introducing a new business model. Switching from SIM to eSIM might seem very simple from technology perspective, but from a business perspective, it's much more different. Because the traditional business model for SIM was that mobile operators were paying for the SIM, hardware, software, security, paying to people like us, and then distributing the SIM to OEM, and then they would have to be inserted in the device. That was the traditional model, which still exists today with the existing SIM. But now with eSIM, this is completely changed, because obviously the eSIM needs to be soldered in the device, and somebody has to pay for it. So will it be the mobile operators? Yes, in some cases. Will it be the OEM? Well, why not? But then, as explained by Rainer just before, is the OEM ready to pay for this additional piece of hardware? Who is providing the security? Who is able to pay for the security? Will it be the OEM? Or which data are we protecting? Maybe we are protecting data, so it might be the service provider. So it's not just a technical issue. Okay? eSIM introduces a lot of changes regarding the business model. Okay? So things are complex actually, and eSIM technology now is getting mature. Again, from technology perspective, there have been standards which have been put in place, in particular by GSMA. And again, solutions have been deployed. As I mentioned before, we have deployed more than 100 servers worldwide, and this has been helped as well with the devices pushed by Apple, such as the Apple Watch and more recently the iPhone. Okay, so technology is ready. Okay, still, when going to ACPC and other kinds of and extending actually to as well to industrial IoT, there are many things to consider. Okay, so that's why we are working with our partners, and in particular Transatel and Qualcomm, to because that's not something that Gemalto alone can solve. That's something that we must solve as an industry altogether. Okay, so first, focus on the user experience. It's very important that the user again have some. Especially with smartphones today, it works, okay? So the good experience that exists today on smartphones should be brought as well on PC, okay? So it should work right out of the box. When the user buys an always connected PC, switches on, it should be on directly on cellular. No complex steps about activating or opening with a screwdriver and put a SIM in it. Okay, that's not definitely not the way to go. Okay, so let's consider, of course, the user first. Let's make him or her enjoy the connectivity as well. Okay. I mean, if you have tried an ACPC, I would engage you to try that. It's a super experience. If you have been used to a regular PC, a dumb PC, I would say, and you switch to an ACPC, After 24 hours, you will see all the benefits. Okay, it's very convenient. There is you have all your notifications which are synchronized. You never have to take care about having Wi-Fi, if the connectivity is good or not. It's going well. So we must have users enjoy and test that, and then they will adopt it. That's why there should be ways to have out-of-the-box connectivity and offering the user the occasion to test that right away, actually. And then they will be much more engaged into going forward. And of course, users, that's what we say, managed subscription life cycle. That's a technical word for people should be as well free to go. I mean, if you have already a subscription with one mobile operator on your smartphone, you might want to go with the same operator. Or maybe if you want to travel abroad, at some period of time, you might want to choose another mobile operator while you are traveling. So freedom of choice as well for the operator, which means operations about dealing with a different subscription. Second point, OEMs, okay? Especially PC OEMs, again, they are less familiar, I would say, with cellular technology than the smartphone makers. So hardware elements have to be pre-integrated in advance, okay? It's not the job of the OEM to put a lot of efforts on trying to make the modem work with the eSIM. It should work right out of the way. It's our job, Gemalto plus Qualcomm, to make it work and make sure that when the OEM gets everything together, it works fine, okay? As well, taking care about the certification. I mean, GCF, PTCRB, Verizon, AT&T certification, okay? This is a huge work to be done, and I'm sure we can help OEM with that. Provide a single eSIM SKU. Again, depending on the different operators, there are different constraints depending on the regions of the world. And it becomes complex if the OEM has to say, okay, this device will ship to the US, so it must be an eSIM shipped with an AT&T subscription. This device is shipping to an open market, so it should ship with a Transatel subscription. This device is shipping to China, so it should use a Chinese subscription. It's a nightmare in terms of logistics. So everything has to be solved, and you should have ideally one single eSIM that you solder and that would address the whole world. Make it simple for OEM, okay? And lastly, of course, we need to think about the mobile network operators that Rainer talked about just before. So obviously, we are dealing with eSIM management. Again, this is cloud-based solution with all the benefits of cloud solution, which means very flexible, very easy to deploy. And as well, it's not just about technology, it's thinking about retailer channel, because a lot of operators are using actually retailers today with smartphones. So how do we, what would be the relationship between MNOs and retailers? Will the MNOs sell in their own retailer channel, because some of them have shops, of course, but they might not want to support actually PCs with their own retail shops. They might rather go through specialists, the one who are deploying PCs already today, okay? But which might not be trained today to sell connectivity, okay? So this is the ideas we have in mind, what we are working on already on a day-to-day basis with Qualcomm and with Transatel. And well, again, this is an ecosystem. We need all of you guys to make this thing work. So let's work together, let's stay in touch, and let's try to make it work along this axis. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before I let Chuck off the races, I'd like to say we didn't just like to get the activation done, the basic activation done. We said we also would like to ensure that when no activation happens, we would like to have a default provider. We were thinking about our friend in Transatel to be that MVNO that provides the connectivity. So Transatel is kind enough to provide to our to the end users a provisional period of time where they can enjoy the cellular services and see how the cellular services provide them with more efficiency. Chuck, please provide us a moment. Thank you.
Thank you. So Transatel has been in the MVNO business for the last 18 years. 5 years ago, we had a vision that we thought that all PCs should be connected. My laptop is connected for the last 6, 7, 8 years, and the technology has been existing for 10 years. But you still have less than 4% of a laptop which are connected through cellular connectivity, which is not normal. That was the base, that was the starting point on which 5 years ago we decided to invest and deploy a worldwide data MVNO dedicated for IoT connectivity, IoT cellular connectivity. As a matter of fact, today we focus on 3 market segments. The first market segment is consumer device, predominantly laptop and tablet. We are already in business with Microsoft Surface, so if you buy a Microsoft Surface anywhere in the world, it comes with a Transatel eSIM. And you can enjoy connectivity in US, in Europe, and in Japan. Same thing with Vaio in Japan. It's not an eSIM, it's a removable SIM at this stage, but it will move to an eSIM at some point. We have also launched with Asus and Acer in Europe. The second market segment is automotive. Transatel has been selected by Jaguar Land Rover and FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automotive, 6 car manufacturers in the world, for connectivity within Europe. I'm going to announce in 2 weeks from now a deal with a truck manufacturer, with a worldwide truck manufacturer for worldwide truck connectivity. The third market segment is industrial IoT. We have been selected by Airbus for the plane's connectivity within Skywise, which is the new service of Airbus for airlines for predictive maintenance. So every time one of the planes of the airline which has selected Airbus for the maintenance, when the plane is touching the ground with the wheels, when weight are on the wheels, then data are uploaded in Amazon Web Service Cloud, all the flight information, which help Airbus, which allow Airbus to provide the predictive maintenance, which reinforce the capacity of the airline. This is what we've been doing so far. Yeah, and the truck manufacturer is Scania. That's going to be announced in 2 weeks from now. To support that, we have launched a new brand. Transatel is our company for the last 18 years, but we didn't feel that Transatel was the right brand, so this is why I didn't come with my Transatel t-shirt, but I come with my UBG t-shirt. So UBG is a new brand dedicated to cellular IoT. It's not about smartphone, it's about embedded cellular connectivity. Today, we focus on mobile device, laptop and tablet, and as I said, UBG is already operational on Vaio computer, Asus computer, Acer computer, and Surface tablet. And also on connected car. And if you buy a Jaguar Land Rover in a few European countries, it comes with 3 years connectivity, and the branding of this connectivity is UBG. It happens that device manufacturer, whether you speak about the Jaguar Land Rover car, or whether you speak about laptop, the device manufacturer, sometimes they want to use their brand, sometimes they don't want to use their brand. So UBG is a brand that we put at the service of the device manufacturer so that he can use our brand if he prefers to use our brand. But it's really the choice of the device manufacturer to choose a brand. So actually, surprisingly, the volumes we get on Jaguar Land Rover in the UK are increasing like crazy. Very, very, and in a way, if you look at a car, what is a car? And there is no car manufacturer in the room. A car is a tablet with an engine and 4 wheels. And from my point of view, it's very much that, except that the usage pattern is higher because the consumption is much bigger. Very surprising. I can come back to that. Now, what we are making happen together with Qualcomm, Gemalto, but also with the support of Microsoft, is that in the nominal case, we could imagine that a device is sold with the subscriptions with the mobile operators. This depends on the channel, whether there is a specific agreements with such channel or whether the mobile operator is selling the device. Now, my opinion, and that's only my personal opinion, that in most of the case, there will be no subscriptions. So there will be nothing really, no subscription embedded into the package for the consumer. So this is why Transatel is proposing himself to be as a backup, as a default. So those words are maybe not very positive, default and backup. But I still believe personally that's going to be 95% of the case. where Transatel can provide connectivity in more than 140 countries in the world, so all North America, all Asia, all Europe, part of Latin America and part of Africa, with selling to local people in Europe, North America and Japan today, and more countries to be added. And I think it's something which is very distinctive about Transatel. We want to give revenue share to the OEM. So if I present the most favorable case, we in the room, everybody in the room travel a lot. You're always confronted with the fact that you need to find Wi-Fi connectivity. You don't really want to use your cellular connectivity because even if everybody is quite wealthy in the room, it's very costly in some countries. Do you really want to trust the local Wi-Fi? It's debatable. I mean, I can tell you plenty of nasty story about what is the disadvantage to use Wi-Fi. Now, if you have embedded cellular connectivity, it makes sense. So with UBG, you have embedded cellular connectivity. So let's imagine that you spend $20 a month, which is kind of the high end of the market, to have connectivity, cellular connectivity, as soon as you get out of your office and home. And me and Prepper, Transatel, we are ready to give 10% as revenue share to the OEM. You keep your device between 3 to 4 years, so let's say 40 months. 10% of $20, it's $2. $2 multiplied by 40 months, it's $80. So basically, we want to double the margin of the OEM across the lifetime of a device. This is our goal. Whether we're going to succeed, we will see. And we want to propose that worldwide. Today, we only do US, Europe, and Japan, but we're going to extend. But just this area is quite big enough, we think. Very happy to answer to any question. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thanks, gentlemen. I think with the collaboration from our partners, Gemalto and Transatel, we engage in a nice eSIM ecosystem. And parameters for that is, it doesn't burden the cost of the OEM, as I said before. It reduces the cost of the eSIM, the activation cost for the operators. It allows the operators to download those profiles over their own network. They can avoid roaming charges, and they also don't have to worry about security concerns if you try to turn it down on Wi-Fi. And for the first time, we now are talking about 100% activation rate of the always-on, always-connected PCs. Thank you. All right, we'd like to continue discussion with you. Please email us on the shown email address here, eSIM at QTI. Is it QTI? Is it Qualcomm?
Yeah.
QTI.Qualcomm.com. It's the right email address is eSIM at QTI.Qualcomm.com. So you can work together and expand this eSIM ecosystem. Thanks a lot, and please enjoy lunch.